What's up, guys? My name's Alexis, your host of Praises in the Pod, and I am so excited to be here with Rosa Bryant. We work together at Southside, and I have just got to become friends with her and learn more about her, but I want to dive more into her testimony and what God's done in her life. So what better place to do it than in the pod? Okay. So we're going to start off in prayer, and then we're going to jump right in. So here we go. Lord, Heavenly Father, thank you for today and all of your many blessings, dear God. We just thank you for this place where we can come and talk about your goodness and your faithfulness, dear God. We're just so thankful for provision, your hand that has led and guided us to get us to where we are today, Lord God. We pray that you speak to us and through us today. We pray that this glorifies you in all that we do, and we just pray that this pushes someone closer to you. Thank you for all that you're doing. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
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 Thank you.
All right. Let's get it popping, girl.
All right.
Let's get it popping. So start out a little bit in your childhood, and let's work our way up from there.
All right. So I was born and raised in Iquitos, Peru. That's in South America, for those that don't know.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Before we go. Okay. This is one thing. Like, it is sometimes it's hard to understand, right? Because this is your second language.
Yes.
So y'all are going to have to be locked in. Okay. You have to be locked
Pay
in.
attention.
Yes. Because sometimes she gets excited too, and she'll start talking real fast, and you got to lock in.
True.
So, like, earlier when we were talking, I'm like, okay, yep.
Yes.
And then, I'm following along. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and give a heads up.
Thanks
But
for doing
either way, it's going to be a great story. Just stay locked in. Okay. So you didn't grow up here. You grew up in Peru. Go ahead.
So I was born actually a place called Bethlehem. It's Bethlehem.
Okay.
We always joke, guys, like Jesus. My kids are like, oh, like Jesus in Bethlehem. It's like, not really, but it's a different place. So the place where I grew up is considered one of the poorest places of the whole country in Peru. And there is a lot of, you will see a lot of kids working, lots of things that you will not normally see here in America. So that was just kind of my environment. Lots of violence, all kinds of things, lots of music, very loud. There's always kids on the street. And so, yeah, that was the place God placed me to be born.
Wow.
And my dad at that time my dad became a doctor later on, but he started as a nurse. And he went to college later on and kind of did all the studies to become a doctor. And that's when my mom and my dad met. My mom is a nurse as well. And so they just kind of came together, and they didn't know the Lord. They just hang out. And that's when my mom got pregnant with me. And definitely not planning. My mom didn't even know he had other kids. And it was a lot of surprises for her as well. And my dad at that time, because he didn't know the Lord, he was doing his job at the hospital. But at the same time, he was doing other things, which is abortions. It's a big thing there. It's not legal to do that, but he wanted to make more extra money because he has so many kids to raise. I mean, that was number 8.
Yeah, I was going to say there was 8 kids.
Yeah, 8 kids.
And you also have a younger sister, too. So
yes, I have another that makes 9 kids. My mom, so when they met together and he found out that she was pregnant, first of all, he didn't believe. They're like, oh, that's not my kid, and blah, blah, blah. He was just trying to avoid everything together. He's like, I don't want to have more kids. I'm done. So when they got together, my mom didn't know that he had problems with alcohol. So when they got together, she was pregnant, and that's when the things got serious. Like, this is not the person I met, and he was completely very violent when he was drunk, and like he would really hit my mom badly. There was one point that a lot of people tried to convince him to go to police. Say, you need to tell us that he's gonna kill you. He's gonna kill you. And so during the pregnancy, she did not have a good pregnancy, obviously, because it was always the beating and all of that. But I always tell her, you're my hero, because I don't know if I would have been able to stay in that. It's just crazy, like the things you tell me and how you fight for me. And that's just the love of a mom.
Yeah.
And she knew that was not what she wanted on her life at that moment, because she was still in the school, but she knew that she did not want to lose me. And
Now, I know that your dad was, you know, being a doctor in that sense of, you know, being assisting with abortions.
Mhm.
And so did him and your mom try to have an abortion when she was pregnant with you or no, your mom?
They did.
They did.
They did. My mom, the whole time, she said no to it, even though she was there. She knew what it looked like. She knew all the process and everything because they worked together. Uh, she just knew on her heart that that's not. I don't feel that I don't have the strength to do this. I can't do it. And but my dad, on the opposite, he was like, "No, you're going. I don't want to have another kid.
Yeah.
I want you to." And because she was against that, it got worse.
Yeah,
He
I'm
got
sure.
more violent with her. And so yeah, the whole pregnancy was awful. It was awful. She lost so much weight. So finally, when the time came, he didn't get what he wanted. The Lord was like, "No, that's what you want to do, but I have other plans for you." So when I finally came, my dad delivered me in that house, and everything looked like he was fine. Again, when he was not drunk, he was great. He was super sweet, but it was always that the opposite when he was drunk. So after I was born, a few days when I was in the house, I got sick, very, very sick. I don't know where. We didn't know what it was. Went to the hospital. That's when we found out I had tetanus.
Tetanus?
Tetanus? Is that how you say it?
I guess.
You say it.
We're going to think that it's that.
But I think they have vaccination for it now. But I mean, you're in the jungle. Like, there was no way for them. They tried to do different things in the hospital, but they couldn't. I had so much medicine as a baby. Like, I lost all my teeth when I got older, like horrible, because of a lot of antibiotics that they put on my body. But that day, a few days after that, it got so bad that I wasn't crying, I wasn't eating. It was like I was just a piece of little body there that doesn't have any emotions, anything. So they discharged me from the hospital, saying, "You know what? There's nothing we can do with your baby. You need to go home and just kind of eventually wait for her to die."
Mm.
When my dad heard those words, I think that really put something on his heart and his mind, because he's like, "There's no way I'm not gonna just let my child die." And so again, it went from like, "I'm about to kill you," to like, "I want to save you so
Yeah.
badly." And so we went home, and my dad was trying to do different things on his own power and his own knowledge, but nothing was working. Nothing was working. It just got worse and worse and worse and worse. And finally, eventually, they gave up, and they're like, "That's it." So they started doing preparations for funeral and everything in that my grandma's house. And that night, when they invite the people, like the family and the neighbors over, so just to kind of give you an idea how funerals work in Peru. So let's say I died today, they will immediately do all the preparations, do the funeral right away, and it's a whole night process. Like, you're supposed to be with the person all night until the next day, and then they take you to the cemetery either after lunch. It's usually in the afternoon. That's just how they do it. So you basically have about 24 hours to, that time frame. So people were in my house. Everybody was there, and people would make comments like, "Oh my goodness." Mera, my dad, he said he always save a lot of people. They were really close to that. How he couldn't save his daughter? Like, the people just make comments about it, and so they were there. People were there, and then my dad, I guess he invited somebody from the Catholic Church, and they came and they did the, what's it called, like the rest in peace thing. I laugh every time I say. We always joke about it when we're like, "Rest in peace."
Yeah.
Peace.
Throwing
They
holy
throw the holy water on me and all that process, and like, I can't believe you do all of that. They didn't know the Lord. They didn't know what they were doing. They were just hopeless. They just gave up completely, and so they did all of that, and so it was days of me not having any kind of. It's what do they call when you are in I don't know what's the term for it. I know the term in Spanish, but I don't know in English. When you're completely out, you don't cry, you don't nothing. Like,
You're
almost,
like unconscious.
yeah, completely unconscious. So that was the stage I was in, and I was completely, like, my mom says, I could see your bones. You were so skinny, super, super. It's like you didn't look like a baby anymore. It was just like a dead person. Like, I can see your bones. It was bad. It was so bad. So the next day, uh, around lunchtime, my mom would not eat. They were forcing my mom, you need to eat something. She would just cry and cry and cry. And when she was about to eat lunch, this is also really crazy because I can completely relate as a mom. When she was about to literally eat her lunch, that's when I started crying. I don't know where. My mom, again, when she was about to eat, she stopped eating. I say, see, that's what kids do to the mom.
Yep.
Anyway, so I decided to wake up and I started crying. My mom run. She couldn't have more. She couldn't go any faster. She ran and took me out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Took me out of there, and then they started doing things. And my dad came and got some IV, is that the word?
Yeah.
Put lots of medicine. Like everybody was so confused. It's like, what is going on? So he started putting a lot of medicine.
Y'all are at the funeral.
Yeah,
Y'all are about
that
to
was
take y'all.
people. They were about to take me. So that I would say maybe a few more hours, and they were fixing to take me to the cemetery. So in that moment, they're like, okay, we need to do this whole thing. We have to do these papers and stuff. I didn't even have a name at that time. It was crazy. It was crazy. Like my mom was like, I wasn't even thinking about it. I mean, you were so sick. You were dying. You didn't have a name. You didn't have nothing. So I had my godmother that she came, and that's when they picked my name. I'm named after my grandma and my mom. My grandma's name is Rosa, and my mom's Lucy.
Oh, wow.
But here comes the funny thing. My mom, so they were like trying to do decide the name. Okay, Rosa, Lucy. All right, that doesn't sound. Let's do Rosa Luz. That's my name. Rosa, Rose, and Luz is light. Rosa, Rose, light.
Wow.
So they decided that day, and that desperation and all the craziness. That's my name, right? 3 months later, they find out. No, they knew this. My dad's ex-wife's name's also Rosa Luz.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Your mom did know that, but she was in the mist.
They didn't think about it.
Okay. Okay.
I still had this name, but it's always been the joke. Like, okay, this is what happens. You pick your child's name in the funeral, or when you're running crazy.
In a moment of despair, they were like, man, I love that name. And then 2 months later, your mom's like,
wait a minute. Like, your dad didn't say anything. Like, well, I don't know what happened there. But anyway, we talk about that all the time. But yeah, that's not the reason my name came. It came because my grandma and my mom. So we always thought that, but it's still funny that his ex was also called the same name.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. So that happened. So immediately after she took me out, they did all the process. My mom says it took about 6 to 7 months to completely for me to get back to
healthy.
Yes, it was a long 6, 7 months. But again, just watching, my mom says, I think that needed to happen because your dad, like, he tried to kill you.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say it out like it is. He did try to kill me, and he didn't want to have you. And it was always something that always came to my mind when I heard the story and everything. I was like, okay, I see why. And it was just very different. And I always had that thought, like, was I supposed to be here? I always questioning that, like, because of the things that I still didn't see any change in my dad. He was still mean to my mom. He was fine with me, but he was mean to my mom, and I didn't like that. I was like, I don't want to be with somebody that is like that. And I always pray for my mom, pray for my dad, that he would change. So when I came, like after years later, when my childhood, all the sickness came out, and I started going to church. I remember my neighbor, she invited me to come to church, and I would go on Sundays. I would go to every single Sunday. They would let me go, but I was also the type of kid that would kind of do it whatever they want, and because they didn't really. That's just kind of the style there. Like, kids would just go do things. They know how to cross the street. They know I can sense danger because I grew up in an environment where nobody's right next to you the whole time protecting you. And even until this day, I still sense when something's about to happen. And it's because of that. Like, we're always just free, do different things. I started working at the age of 8, selling flowers. And I did all kinds of things. And in a lot of those places that I was dangerous. And later I was like, I don't know how in the world none of that craziness has happened. I've always been around water. I still don't know how to swim.
To this day?
until this day. Yeah, I still don't. That's what I'm saying. Danger is
Yeah.
always kind of the thing that it was around me, but only the Lord will protect you. And but the place when at the age of 8, that same age, I remember when it was getting closer to Christmas. That's when they would do a list of, oh, we're gonna do our Christmas program. We need to make a list of the kids that are regular attenders, so we can have like a special Christmas event, and we're gonna have gifts and stuff. I don't remember ever having a gift for even for my birthday. So it didn't catch my attention. It's like
Yeah.
I didn't expect it. I didn't grow up expecting a gift. So when they put my name on that list, I was like, oh my goodness, my name is on the list. I got so excited. I was like, okay, how is that gonna look like? So finally the day came, and there was a lot of kids. I remember at the church. Our church was very small. I was about maybe 50 to 60 people. But there was a lot of kids, lots of kids every Sunday. And so that day, I remember coming to the church super excited, and and they started calling people by name. And there was boxes in the where the stage is. I was like, what are those boxes are for? I was like, what is that? I was so confused and like very like curious, like what is all of that? I had no idea what it was. So they were just kind of explaining, okay, we're gonna call. It was an alphabetic order. We're gonna call by names, and they will open our boxes all at the same time. And one of the things, it was like a happy and sad day. It was happy because I felt like, okay, somebody cared for me. My name is on this list, and but there was also a lot of kids outside the church that they couldn't come inside. And that just broke my heart. I was like, I want all of them to be here and be receiving these gifts too. And I still didn't know what it was inside. I was just thinking in my head how special that was. But maybe they didn't go to church as much like I did. So I was just trying to tell what can I do about it? And then the time came, and then they start calling the names and everything. So we're open the gifts. And it was very special. I remember opening this box, and there was a lot of few toys in there. There was like a coloring book. There was a little Bible, like a new, those New Testaments that we usually give away. There was the New Testament, pencils, and I remember there was a toiletry. Like they had like a shampoo, a lotion, and there was something else. I can't remember what it was, but it was all in English. I knew it was coming from the United States. And inside that, there was also a letter. The person that made the box for me, her name is Rachel. I still don't know who she is, where she is. I just know she lives in the States. But that's all. That's all I know. And I remember the people that had letters in their boxes, we had somebody that would read for us,
Translate
it for us. And it was very profound. I was like, okay, they're gonna read these letters for us. And I happened to have one. That's how I find out that the girl that made the box for me her name was Rachel. So when they read the letter, that was the first time that I had heard somebody say that they love me. They didn't know my name, obviously, but God had that special prize for me. That was the first encounter that, oh, this is how God is showing me that He loved me, that He cares for me. And I remember being so excited about the shampoo. I was so excited about shampoo. I'd never had shampoo before. We always just use a cheap soap to wash our hair. My hair has always been long. I mean, it's long right now, but it was longer than this.
Wow.
Longer than this. So I always had my hair long. And as a little girl, 8-year-old, I always wanted to have a shampoo and my own, what's it called? My own brush, my hair brush and stuff. So that was not something that I had. So it was just kind of like, okay, I wash my hair and go. So when I had the shampoo, for whatever reason, that was the thing that caught my attention. Caught my attention. But then also reading the letter, saying how much that person loved me, how much they care for me. And then at the end, I remember, if we don't ever get to meet in earth, maybe we meet in heaven. And how much Jesus loves me. And I was like, is that the Jesus that we talk about here at the church? Because I was going there because church was my safe place. going home was not, because there was always fighting. There's a lot of hitting, screaming, that I will leave my house, go to my neighbors so I can hide from it. So church was my safe place, and it always will be. And I always tell my kids, church was my safe place. And as a mom, now I have 4 kids. I try to create an environment where they feel safe, but it's a place that is that God is the center, because I didn't have that growing up. I tried to escape my house. I was more in the streets than I was in my house because of that. And I knew that I didn't want that for me, for my future, for my kids. And that point, I wasn't even thinking about family because I was a child. But that was the first encounter that I had with God, that He was telling me, hey, I do care for you. I love you. And a completely stranger. It wasn't my dad. It wasn't my mom. It was a complete stranger that I still don't know who she is.
What if she's listening right now? Rachel! Hang on, let's take a little break right there.
Goodness.
Because this isn't like an Operation Christmas Child like plug. We're not like trying to promote them, but honestly, like that's a life-changing moment. That is where you get to experience the love of God, right? Like this is where you've been going to church, but you're going to escape reality. Like and honestly, what a like testimony in itself too, because like most people when they have that type of reality, they're running to other places. They're running to drugs and alcohol and men and or women or like all this stuff. You're escaping in other ways. For you, you're like, I'm gonna escape to the church. Don't even know what y'all got going on, but it's a safe place here. And then to hear from God in such a big way, an Operation Christmas Child, because I want to add, like you said, you had never received a gift. And there's so many times that like me personally, okay, this is just how I felt when I've done Operation Christmas Child before. And it's like, I feel like sometimes I just put in like stuff that's so cheap and so, like little and stuff. These kids, like you just received some shampoo and was over the moon.
It was the best.
Like over the moon. And so like just putting that in retrospect of like the kids in these places that we're sending these boxes to, they don't have anything. Like they don't have the opportunity to just shampoo their hair with shampoo, or have this nice soap or coloring pencils and books. Like, wow. I just like, it's just so nice to hear that that's the impact that one of these boxes can have on someone's life.
You just never know. I know, like you're saying, when you do these boxes, you're just thinking, okay, I just want to help somebody, but it goes beyond that. And the most important thing is that you're sharing the gospel.
Yeah.
Because I was able to hear the gospel that day, and just knowing, sharing that God loves everyone. It loves no matter your background, where you live, where you grow up, anything. He loves everyone, and just to being a part of that little piece, it's an honor, and I happened to be privileged to receive that, and God had a plan. He had a purpose. It started from that box, and so kind of moving from there. So at that moment, that was the time I had, and I remember going home super happy, sharing that with my mom and my dad. My dad was kind of like, he didn't have a lot of emotions at that moment. It was like kind of whatever, and because he didn't care for church. But I knew that day, because of the kids that I watched, they wanted to come here. I was like, you know what? I want to do something about it. And I remember with my mom, we decided, you know what? Why don't I say, you need to come to church with me. You need to come to church with me. And then she started coming. We would try to kind of almost hiding from my dad to go, like when he was in the hospital, because he worked different shifts, weird shifts. And the times when he was working and it was time for us to go to church, we would go to church. And if she was a completely jealous person, he would always say, oh, my mom goes to church to see the pastor. I'm like, what are you talking about? I mean, he would try to find any excuse for us not to go.
Yeah.
And we pray for my dad. I remember so many times getting on our knees with my mom and praying for him, because we knew that there was hope, and we didn't see it happen soon, and we wanted to happen as fast as we could. But again, it's not in our control, and we just have to rely on him and let him do his job as we are continuing to pray and surrender our lives to him and serving him. So my mom and I, we created this kind of club on Saturdays where we will have the kids from my neighborhood that will come to our house, and we will do like a little service. We will tell like a Bible story, and then we will feed them. So we will feed them because food brings everybody,
Yep.
and people love to eat. I love to eat. So let's do that. So we started that. I remember we were doing Saturdays. So every Saturday, that had nothing to do with church. So it was just something that I wanted to do because of what I have received. I wanted to give that in returns.
Good.
Because I was like, okay, God has blessed me with this, and my dad and his alcohol problem and stuff, it was bad, but financially later on it became better, and I knew I was working, and all my money that I have I would use it to help somebody, to do something. It wasn't so much about me, and I remember paying for my light, for my electricity, for my water, helping my house. And my parents didn't ask me to do that. It was just something that I wanted to do because I don't know. I just wanted to be a part of that, and they were blessing me with food already, and that was just my way of giving back to them. So I always was that way, and so my mom was like, "Okay, we're gonna do this service and stuff." So my dad was watching that, like us do these things, and then he's like, "Okay, I guess I can go to church too." So he started coming to church with us. And again, he was listening to things, but he would still go back and get drunk. So if this is back and forth, it's a constant fight. It's a battle that you struggle with, especially when you have addictions. And I remember my pastor, his name is Lenny. When he finally came close to my dad, he became friends with him. And when he was in the process of leaving the alcohol life, he was very consistent. I remember I've never seen somebody that's been so consistent with him, and how I see him like he was my spiritual dad in that moment because he helped me so much. A lot of times when my dad was drunk, he would come and clean him, like literally come, put it in the shower, clean him up, talk to him, pray for him. And I would never forget that. And I always think about him because he was so violent. We as girls, we couldn't do much because if we tried something, he would just hit somebody, and I don't know, he just had a way to get to him, and it was just the Lord. I think he used him in that way, and watching him was like, this is how he's using him. It's like Jesus and himself coming and help my dad. And there will be times I remember when finally became he accepted Christ. He said that he would change and do all these things, and then he would get back again. It was this constant. I remember one time I would follow my dad everywhere because I was so scared that he would get drunk, somebody would hit him or kill him, and do something crazy. And I remember one time he was like drinking, and he had his Bible. I was like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, you can do both things. And it's like crazy how he was acting. And eventually just got better and better. We just continued to pray. And prayer is such a powerful thing.
Yep.
Never stop praying. My mom and we pray for my dad for a long time. And there was a lot of suffering, lots of crying, we lost so many things. And one of the things that I didn't share too was I lost my sister when I was 3. This was from my mom's first marriage. My mom got married when she was 16. It was an arranged marriage. It was not something that she wanted. It was one of those things like, if you don't get married with this guy, you're gonna stay in the jungle forever. And she didn't want that. She wanted to leave the jungle, go to the city, go to school. And she agreed to marry to this person, not because she loved that person, but she got pregnant. She didn't know anything about taking care of yourself,
Wow.
like none of that stuff. So she was very clueless, and so she got pregnant with my sister. She was older than me for 5 years, about 5 to 6 years. And so yeah, she had her thing, and my sister died in a very tragic accident that I was able to get out of that. She was there was this place close to the house where they have like lots of sand, and they create kind of like a tunnel. And we kids are always in the street. We just go play any place we want. So they were playing in there, and we got inside the hole, and the whole thing, the sand collapsed on the kids. It took 3 days for them to find them where they were because the place was so big. My mom went through so much.
Yeah.
With me being pregnant, my dad's addiction, losing her child tragically, and watching my mom do that was really hard for me. That was really, really hard. So we lost her. It was 3 kids that died. It was twins and my sister. And that was from my mom's first marriage. And the first person that people thought had something to do with was my dad. They're like, oh, he probably did something to her because he wanted his daughter. And he almost went to prison for it. It was a whole
Oh my
process. And so
goodness.
they find out it was an accident. And my mom went to how do you call they weren't Christian at the time. So she went to the witch, like trying to figure out where she was. And because they couldn't find, they were like missing.
Mhm.
They were really close to the
Like a
house.
psychic?
Yeah,
Like okay.
trying to figure out where she was because she was desperate. She was very desperate. So my mom trying to recover from that. That was really hard. But then my dad came to the Lord and they started serving together. And at the age of 11, that's when my mom and my dad got married.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because they were married.
I didn't know that. Okay.
They were not married. So everything was just she got pregnant and then just kind of happened. He tried to kill me, all of that. But there was never a commandment because my dad didn't believe in that. So he finally, when he had malaria, he had malaria and that almost killed him. When he recovered from malaria, he got this the Lord really called his attention. He's like, you need to do this. I know you're saved, but he knew that one of the things that he needed to do, you need to get married because you're not living in God's way. You have to get married. So when he got out of that hospital, that was the first thing he did.
Wow.
I remember singing at my dad's wedding.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was really nice. It was good.
That is. I mean, because sometimes it does take us to get in those desperate places, like getting severely sick or like on our deathbeds or something like that to get our attention.
To get attention, yeah.
I don't want, some people always talk about like these boring testimonies, and I'm like, I don't want people to have to experience these things for
No.
God to get your attention. Like, boring testimonies is such a big
It's a
thing.
big thing.
Like, it really is. So your dad does start walking faithfully with the Lord. Him and your mom are still together to this day. Like, after all of this, it could have been a lot of different outcomes, but
They served together. We did so many trips together. It was so obvious. Like people in the hospital, they were always. I remember you're not supposed to do this, but he would share the gospel to the people
Come
in
on.
the hospital. And I remember one of the things that he always loved was he would have like Christian movies. He will give away to people, and they will also do. We always love music in my house, and he was big on music. I love singing. And he didn't sing good, but he loved listening. And so he will always record different like Christian music. He would share with people in the hospital
good.
if they knew they were really sick, or sometimes people that they couldn't do anything in the hospital, like kind of what happened to me. They will send them to my house. They will come to my house, discharged from the hospital, and my dad would care for them until the very end.
Wow.
But part of that was amazing because he will, again, it's in my house. I get to share the gospel. There lots of people came to Christ because of what he was doing. People, they couldn't afford to go to the hospital. They would go to our house. My dad knew a lot of people. A lot of people knew him. And because he was such a serving person, he loved helping people. A lot of times people didn't even pay him. He didn't care. Because I just want to help people. This is my calling. And why not use my career and also share the gospel with people when they're in this time where they're in need of physical, they need their health back, but they also need Christ.
Spiritual. Yeah.
And a lot of these moments when he had with these people, a lot of these people came to Christ. We had people living with us for months and until they got back to their feet and then go back to their homes. And it was very beautiful.
Yeah.
We've seen so many kids being born in my house, many kids being born. That was the most beautiful thing for me to see. And I remember every time every kid was born in my house, we'd pray for them, pray for their families. And that was something that I wanted to do growing up. So I want to deliver babies when I grow up. And my dad was so gracious. He would always let me in to the room. I watched the kids being born. It was so fascinating. So fascinating. I love
as a
it.
kid, I'd be like, no, thank you. My baby.
I will not sleep if I had a feeling like she's probably gonna have a baby, maybe I don't know, 1, 2. I kind of have an idea, so I'm not gonna sleep. I would just know sleep,
Yeah.
and I still don't sleep well at night because I had that issue. I don't sleep.
That's what you got used to. So you're like,
You
let
just
me
get
scary-
used to it. Like I was scared to miss the baby. I want to see the baby.
Yes.
So it was really special. Like watching God transform my dad's life
Mhm.
was very beautiful, and seeing him serve him passionately because he was so passionate about what he's done, and seeing reconciliation with his other kids because he didn't really raise his kids. There were so many, but we're talking about 4 different women here. And when he became to Christ, he knew it was important for him to have a good relationship with his kids. And I had a few of them that came to live with us. My mom was super nice to them, and they went to college, and then they went away with their families and stuff. But every time when we have them together with us, he will always share the gospel with them. And a lot of times they were very not trustful because of how he's done
How
things
he's
in the
been.
past. And I mean, they had the reasons why, but they also see how much he cared for them, even though their childhood was not how they wanted to be, and how God has changed them, and just starting from there, and forgiveness was a huge. I learned forgiveness with my dad, seeing him, even though there's a lot of things that he's done to my mom and me. I got so close to my dad. I think I was the closest to my dad that I was to my mom. So when he passed away, it was really, really hard for me. It was so hard, especially when you were far away and not being able to. I missed my dad's funeral because I just had a baby after he passed. So it was difficult. But again, our only hope is Jesus.
Yeah.
And I know one day we will meet again. And that's the best thing that could happen. I think knowing that he's in a good place and that we will be reunited again.
Yes.
That's all I can think of.
Absolutely. So, but before he did pass, he did know your husband and got to meet your husband. So let's talk a little bit about how you got here, how you and Eric met, and talk a little bit about that.
So my husband, my lovely husband. Okay, so because of the things that happened in my childhood and everything, marriage and all that, marriage was not something that I dream of because of I didn't have a good example, just the things that I saw, and my dad being with multiple women, having different kids from different places. It was just I don't want that. I don't want that. I would rather be single.
Yeah.
So and that's probably why I always was trying to do things on my own. Since I was little, like I didn't have to depend on a man. So that was kind of my mentality. And I'm just gonna dedicate my life to Christ and serve him. But I don't need no man. I don't need no man. I was scared. I was like, I had trust issues because of the things that I saw. So I was like, I don't know if I can trust somebody like fully. If I get married, that's it.
Yeah.
That's the person I have to be forever. And I don't know if I can do that. So trust issues, that's always been an issue for me. And about 2008, I was doing my kids ministry already, serving the Lord with my mom, doing my club on Saturdays. I met a friend, missionary friend, Brandon. He would do trips in the river, like different places. They will bring people from different places, and they will do kids ministry, students ministry. It was a little bit of everything. So when I met him, I started doing trips. It wasn't just, oh, I'm gonna do this thing on my house. It was more like, okay, let's go to this city, or let's go to this place, this community. And so we would go so many different places. We would do kids ministry. We would do how do you call when you don't have like welled?
What like
Well, is that the word?
well water?
Well water.
Okay.
We would do well water for places that don't have access to water. So it was a ministry that a little bit of everything. So in these trips, my parents were coming as the medical support.
Oh, wow.
So when we will have, because a lot of the people were Americans, and let's say something happened, you get bit by a snake, or you get, I mean, it could happen anything in the jungle.
Yeah.
So we always have somebody that will take care of that. My dad and my mom would do that. So I was doing ministry. They were doing the medical thing, but also doing, the ministry part of it. So in that summer, 2008, my husband's invited to come to help with this specific mission. And my friend, we joke about this all the time. He was trying to set us up, and he did.
And
And he did. So my husband has never dated anybody. And because they're friends, so they were like, okay, you're getting older. I guess, I don't know, maybe they're worried about him. I don't know. So he's like, I want you to come. I have this girl that is in the ministry. I would love for you to meet her. And my husband, obviously, he's like, Brandon, I'm not going there to meet girls. I'm just going to go to help you. We're just doing ministry. So it always started like that. So he still agreed, okay, I'm going to come. It's vacation. I'm going to go. So every vacation that he had when he was not working, he would always do some mission trip somewhere.
Yeah.
And
he didn't go on a normal vacation.
No, he would.
Going to serve
I'm
the
going to
Lord.
go serve the Lord somewhere. He's been so many places. You can ask him. And but yeah, he happens to go there. Little he didn't know what was gonna happen there. So before we met in person, I get this phone call from my friend. He was in Lima. You have to go to Lima first before you go anywhere else in Peru. He's like, hey Rosa, how are you doing? I'm like, hey, why is he calling me? He's like, hey, I have a friend of mine. He's coming to help us out, and I would love for you to meet him. And do you want to talk to him? I say, what? Does he speak Spanish? It's like, no. Or that I don't want to talk to him. I don't want to talk to him. He's in the phone. And then he's just kind of laughing. Like I can hear kind of giggling. I said, well, I think he wants to talk to you. Okay, I'm just going to pass you the phone to your future husband, he says.
That you can't speak English at the time. He can't speak Spanish.
I got so mad. When he said, I pass you the phone to your future husband.
Yeah.
I didn't even know his name. He just said friend. And I got mad. I got in the phone and he tried to say some stuff. I have no clue what he said. And from then, it didn't start good. It didn't start good. So the next day, I came off the phone. And then the next day, he shows up in my house with him. No eye contact, no hello, no nothing. He's like sitting in the mecedora in my living room. And if you ask him, he will tell you, that day when I came to your house and I saw you, I knew you were the one. I had no feelings. I have like, you were more spiritual than I was because I didn't feel a thing. I was just mad. I was just so mad. Mad with Brandon and kind of mad with him because he kind of let him do that. But yeah, it wasn't his fault. He was the friend just doing all that. So that's how it started. So when we started doing our trips, because he knew I was the one, he was showing that he was gonna get me somehow. It was very obvious. Like we would do the mission and everything, but he was so consistent. He was trying to learn Spanish so fast, which he did. It took him a month.
If he wanted to, he would.
He will try the hardest. He will learn Spanish. So he will carry his dictionary like this humongous book everywhere he will go. It was so embarrassing. Anyway, and we have a group of people that will be like the translators for the missionary when they share testimony. So we had a group that will come with a team, and everybody knew he was in love. Everybody, I knew too, but I was just I was just not. No, like, so because of that, I kind of took advantage of that. But I was just being so mean. And at one point, he said that in Spanish, he was trying to say in Spanish that he wants to marry me when we were one of the places. And I told him no. I said, no, I don't want to marry you.
Oh.
So he went and started crying. I thought he was crying, like joking crying. But he was crying for real in the tree. And one of the people that translate for us, he comes to be like, what did you do to the gringo? He says, what? I didn't do anything. He's crying over there. Why did you do that? I didn't do anything. He was saying that he wants to marry me. And I told him no, because I do not want to marry him. And but I guess he was thinking, he was serious. I was not serious.
Yeah.
He was very serious.
This is really like within a 2-month time.
Yeah, within
right?
2 months. Within 2 months. It was so early. Like, there's no way. He told me that he's never dated anybody. I didn't believe him. I was like, there's no way. You're like, how old? 23, 24? There's no way you never date anybody. You're just lying. So I completely shut it down from the beginning. Past the time, he was still there, very consistent, trying to be nice and everything, trying to learn Spanish so badly. Still doing missions, serving together. And towards the end, there was one more trip that we needed to do. that I could not go. I happened to go back to the city because I had to go sing for an event that they had in the city because there's this big festival that we have in the city. So I had to go and sing for that. So I left. So we had this separation. And that same week happens to be his birthday. That was July 14th, I remember. And for whatever reason, I started missing him. I was like, what's going on? Why am I feeling this? And it just started clicking on me like, why am I feeling this, Lord? Why is it happening with me? And I knew it was his birthday. So I called to the place. There's only one phone for this whole community that you have to call. So everybody knew, everybody will know who you're calling, who you can talk to. So I was like, should I do that or no? So I was thinking, should I do that or no? Okay, I'm going to do it anyway. So I called just to say happy birthday. And for him, that was the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah.
He came back to the city, and that's when we officially went on our first date. We went to watch a movie and have dinner. We This is so funny. We went to watch. Okay, you guys say Kung Fu Panda. I say Kung Fu Panda.
Y'all went to go see Kung Fu Panda.
I know. I don't even like movies. I don't know why we did that. Anyway, so we went to watch a movie. Then we went to eat dinner. And then that was it. That was our only date that we had. And days after that was time for them to go. So the day when we say goodbye, we talked for a long time. We had my friend Brandon come in because we want to make sure he understands.
Yeah.
All the things. I want to make sure I understood what he was saying and vice versa. So one of the things that stood out to me that he told me that day was, I know that I love you. I just can't stop thinking about you. I know that you're the person for me. I knew the day that I came to your house, I knew you were the one. I know you're the one. I want you to pray from your place. I'm going back home. I don't know if I'm coming back. I don't know what God has in store for me, what God has in store for you. But I want both of us to pray for each other. And when I come back, if I come back, it's not going to be because of a mission trip. It's going to be because of you. So that was July. And from July, January, 6 months later, that's when he comes back.
He came to get his
He
woman.
came back.
He came to get his woman.
He comes back. That's when we got engaged at the church. He practiced everything, I remember. And when it was time for him to speak, he forgot. I have a video about it. It's hilarious. I always joke because you don't really ask me because you just put yourself and then you get on your knee, give me the ring, but you didn't really ask me. So we always joke about it. But one of the things that was so important to me, it was that I had to have the blessing from my parents.
Yeah.
And my dad was always protective and very jealous person. So at that time, before the engagement happened, one day he asked me questions. He's like, I see that he calls you every day, and what's going on? Like, why is he calling you? Why is this and that? Even though he knew, I think he knew, everybody knew, but I think it was for me to say it and make it like formal, I guess. But I was scared. I was really scared. I was like, if I say something, that's gonna be it. He's never gonna let me call him back. So that's gonna be it. So I didn't want to. I was trying to protect that, but at the same time, I was not, because I was like, I don't want to live like this. I want my parents to know that this is what's going on, and I want to know if they agree with it. And when I finally talked to my dad, he was upset with me. He's like, why you didn't tell me this before? I was like, I don't know. I just thought you're going to be upset and you're not. And he told me, I remember he said, I think he's a good guy. And I saw him in the trips when we were in together, because I never did a mission trip without my parents. I always go with them. So they knew everything, all the movements and everything that was going on. So, and they saw something different in him. And just the way he treated me, and even though I was mean to him, he didn't care. He did not care. And again, I thinking back and having him in my life, I always feel like I don't deserve that, because I was very mean to you. I was so mean to you, and he's just the sweetest thing and super loving and something that I ever thought I would ever have, because of I didn't have a good manly, like godly man examples in my life. So I never thought I could have that. I never thought that existed. But it's just God's love, seeing God's love through my husband, the way he treats me and how he cares for me, even with my baggage, and choosing me every single day, just like Jesus does for us. And that's a gift, something I treasure every single day. I'm not always lovable, but he's always there for me. And that's just God showing me and how much he cares. He still cares for me, even to this day. And so I moved here in 2010, April 12th,
Yeah.
not knowing a thing.
Mm-mm.
I just had this peace that was the right thing for me to do. It was difficult to leave everything behind. My parents coming. My wedding was super simple. I did not want to have a big wedding. I remember the night before my wedding, I cried so much. I was like, all the tears I could have because that's not how a picture. But I knew that that was the right thing. He was the right person, and that's all it mattered. I was like, I don't need to have this big wedding because like girls' dream, this special. And not that I'm saying that it's bad, but the most important thing is knowing that the person that you have with you for the rest of your life is the person that God has made exactly for you.
Yes.
That's the most important thing. And I can see that as a result now because a wedding is just a wedding. You spend a lot of money. It's more for the guests than it is for you.
It is.
And so we just got married in the backyard in my in-laws' house. We had somebody to translate for me. For the little wedding thing that we had, we ate burgers, and that was it. We did not have a
'Cause
honey.
y'all still he was learning Spanish, doing pretty well.
And he will.
Doing well.
He still did.
But you did not learn English. This is straight up for real, like 90 Day Fiance. I'm not gonna lie. This
I did not learn a thing because in my mind I was thinking, okay, maybe I moved there, maybe I'll live there for a few years and I just come back.
yeah.
The Lord was like, nope, you're staying here, girl. I didn't have a choice.
Wow.
I didn't have a choice. I had to learn. I didn't take English classes. I didn't learn English the formal way. I just kind of learned listening, talking.
And you know what?
Yeah.
That'll preach too, because how do we learn about God? We get plugged into these communities. We hear, we read our Bibles. The stuff that you're saying is how you learned English, because there's so many times that people do say, like, I don't know all this stuff about God. Like, I don't know what all. You got to get plugged in,
Yes. And I think also knowing that if you know this is God's plan, he will work everything out. The details, he will bring the right person to you. I have had people in my life that have been, like, I got my first job within a year.
Wow.
And that was a blessing. I was like, there's no way I have a job here in America. I didn't even speak English. How is that possible? And the reason why they hired me, they call me because, so the area where we live, there's a lot of bilingual people, a lot of Hispanic population. And they knew I have done kids ministry for a long time. They needed somebody in the church that speaks Spanish.
Wow.
And I just happened to be there at the right time. And I was a missions intern for that church for about 3 years. And then I also started working in the nursery because, nursery holding babies, I don't need to speak English. They're not going to laugh at me if I say something wrong. And I love babies. Always loved babies, love the deliveries and all of that. Just watch. It was beautiful. And I also needed to do something. I will tell you this though. The first year when we got married was very difficult because of the culture change. And I still had insecurities, even though I knew he was the one. But it has something that I need to surrender to God. Say, I cannot always have insecurities and be jealous. I had a lot of jealousy in my first year of marriage. Oh my goodness. And he didn't do nothing.
Yeah.
But it was because of the things that I've seen. I was comparing my now husband, with people from my past. He had nothing to do with it. And sometimes we as women, we do that often. And like, this is a whole new person. Whatever happened before, whatever you've seen in different people, that's not it.
No.
And I was treating him in a different way. I was struggling in my marriage my first year because of that. Had nothing to do with him. And I had to ask for forgiveness to my husband. Say, I'm doing this because of that. I need to surrender my past to the Lord. Because a lot of times we do this and we can judge people based on what we left in the past. And that's not it. And my own insecurities, sometimes he doesn't trigger anything. It's just me that I need to internally bring it to God. It's between me and God. And I say, God, I need to completely move this away so I can treat my husband the way I need to do as a wife.
That's good.
And that was really hard for me in my first years, trying to be dependent on him. Oh man, that was hard. After working your whole life and now knowing like, what am I going to do now? I have to ask him to take me here.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to drive. I learned how to drive when I was pregnant with my first.
Wow.
So it took me 4 years after leaving here. It was hard. It was really hard. And once again, he was very patient and he's got a lot of patience with me. Such a great listener. I talk so much. He's such a great listener. And but that's how he cared for me, how he loved me. And now, I mean, like I said, our wedding was super simple. We did not have a honeymoon. We couldn't afford a honeymoon because we spent so much money in paperwork, lawyers and all, because it's a lot of money for you to move here, especially when you want to do it the right way.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money. And he did invest a lot in me and financially for me to come here. So the least I could do is treat him well, right? But I was not because of my baggage because of my insecurities. So had to bring to the Lord. And when you're good with God, everything else will fall in place. You're gonna be able to love your husband the way that you should do as a wife, like Christ. He was doing that for me, but I was not doing that for him. And I was always trying to use the excuse, I'm the one that left everything, because a lot of times we can try to manipulate things. But that's not right. You shouldn't treat your husband that way. And I had to really change that and fully trust him because he's my person.
Yeah.
He's the person that God had made for me. And the trust needs to always be there. And we need to protect our marriage. We need to protect who we are, what God created. And life is a lot better now than it was. I know I always hear people, the beginning of the marriage is beautiful and it's this. For us, it's the opposite.
Yeah,
ours
the
was
longer.
bad.
Yeah.
Yes.
The longer you are together, the better.
Well, I always tell them we didn't have honeymoons, but we tried as much as we can to travel and do things together. But because we can now and we treasure that, we try to teach our kids that the importance of having time together as a couple. And when you become a mom, it can be difficult for you to do that, but it's all about being intentional and prioritizing where your priorities are. Your kids are watching that too. It's not just, I have my kid and it's all around my child now. No, you still are a wife and you need to care for your husband too.
I'm glad you brought up the kids just because, I mean, looking back at your childhood, you see the importance and how the ripple effect of kids, when a child comes to Christ, how it can impact a whole family. And that's why you went into kids ministry. I mean, that's why you're in that, because you can see the power of a child's faith that can transform a whole family and generations after that. I mean, it's just so beautiful. Just seeing God in your story all throughout it is absolutely beautiful.
It's just God. Just God.
But as we begin to close, I usually leave one way. Okay. I ask the person 3 different questions and you get to pick which question you want to end with.
Okay.
1, maybe on the way here, you wanted to say something more specific that I haven't gave you the chance to do. So, a word of advice to someone that's listening, or what is something that God's revealed to you or taught you more recently? How would you like to end it today?
I guess the advice.
Okay.
There is a lot of things that we as humans, we like. I'm a person that likes to plan things, has control of things. That's just nature, my nature. But God would always find a way to put you in the right place with the right people and surrender.
Yep.
That's the biggest thing. Like if you're willing to serve God, regardless where it is or how that might be, even if you don't know, if you are feeling called to do something, say yes to it.
Yeah.
Even if you don't know the outcome, even if you don't know what that will look like, what you're going to have to go through, because at the end, God will be glorified.
Yep.
And knowing that you have been used by him because you have surrendered to life, your life to him, and you were willing to do that, it's a blessing. Eventually you will look back, you'll be like, I know what I went through this. When you see, I have seen kids that I have taught in my kids club that now are serving God, seeing the results later on, it's beautiful to see because I know what I've done, what I suffered, the nights and the days that I cry. They weren't for no reason. There was a reason. God had a purpose for it. Every tear, every prayer, He hears you and He will answer you in the right time. It might not be your time, but He will do it.
That's good. That is so good. This has been good, Rosa. I love learning more about you. I love when I have people from Southside on because, like, we know each other, but it's like we don't know each other. So, like, this has just been beautiful to see your story and hear it. So, yes, thank you so much for
having
me. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this as much as I had. Please make sure to rate, comment, share, all the good stuff. Make sure you stay tuned, stay blessed, and we'll see you guys later. Bye.